So let's go back to the beginning. Which part should I start with? My testimony's pretty big. I went through a lot as a kid. Some sexual abuse from a stepbrother. Not a lot of listening. Mom worked a lot. I was a latchkey kid. Then, as I grew up, I think that around 11, I was reading a Bible with a friend and going to a little church, and, well, we were super learning, and we asked the pastor about being saved because we read Romans, and he told us that it could be anywhere, anytime, any place. Then a Sunday or two later, we're sitting in there, and I jumped up out of my seat, and I said, I'm saved, I'm saved. And they sat me back down in what our spirit-filled churches now called, they threw cold water on me. I fully believe that the Spirit took hold then, but they told me it wasn't time yet. There was a time to do it. But I was still super excited, wanted to be baptized. My mom had been hurt by the church, so she pulled me out of the church. She didn't want me to go back. She didn't want me to do it without her. All those kind of things. And ultimately, I went a completely different direction. And for a long time did a lot of the opposite things after that. This is not none of this is a talking bad about any particular church. I don't think that there is such a thing as a right church. I believe the worst thing one of the worst things that the devil teaches everyone is that one church, meaning one specific denomination, and that is not a thing. There's no biblical reference to that. I don't care through whether you read any Bible known to man, whether you take history of religion, there's nothing biblical that says that there is one denomination that's going to get you to heaven. As a matter of fact, anything that is inclusive, God is against. He specifically forbids it multiple times, and we'll go into some Bible studies later about that, because I'm absolutely certain he'd like for me to share with you why I know that. I know that because every time that I've been taught something, and God, once I had the Holy Spirit, started to lead me, I would get very confused. I mean, and I have a part of my extended family, part of a step family that were Catholic. I have all my dad's side Baptist. A few different types of Baptist, but Baptist, because can't just have one side of that. So order was big for everybody, and I have a pretty strict mom, and so listening, doing what I'm told, those things come easy as long as it follows what the world puts in an order, what the church puts in an order. Only what I'm trying to tell you guys today, and I'll continue with my testimony and teaching as we go forward, but God's done with that. He's done with sitting on a pew and doing everything in order. And I don't mean we should be in chaos. We should walk through the door and everybody should swing from the rafters. No one should ever talk. Everyone should talk out of turn. That's not what I mean. But I think that we've gotten to a point that, we're going to sing this amount of songs. We're going to do them in this order because this many people believe this. We're going to then allow this testimony or this person to say this, and then we're going to do this in this order. And I keep going back because I think that we throw cold water on kids, even in non-denominational spirit-filled churches at this point, because we're so worried. Honestly, I think about the world coming in and what God has taught me repeatedly, because I could bring someone in praying to God, please, please, Lord, they need salvation, they need healing, they need deliverance. And pastor would do something like preach, whichever pastor, on nothing but tithing that day. And I'd be thinking, oh my Lord, can we possibly get this more wrong? And do you know what? Those people got saved in the middle of a thing that all I heard was about tithing. Because God is doing the work. I'm not even sure sometimes they hear what the pastor said. It's the Spirit moving inside you that brings you to God. It is His voice, His calling, not a teaching, not a song. And believe me, you're not going to get me to say a lot wrong about praise and worship, because it's my go-to. Matter of fact, that's the most recent of God dealing with me, is that everything isn't praise. Everything isn't you singing to Him. Not that it's not one of the top things. Just that sometimes we can make it more, well, I'm always in the Spirit, I'm always singing, I'm always praising Him. I mean, that's all I'm doing. But are you spending the time to sit and just talk, just listen, just read the Word, speak the Word? Are you speaking it into other people's lives? Because today, where we're at, I've been saying this a few years, and I know in our world, when we think years, we think that's forever. And so when you guys hear us say, you know, it's coming fast, things are changing, I don't mean like in the middle of the night, that it's going to happen tonight, that soon being this month. But I don't believe my grandchildren will be grown. I don't think He'll tarry that long. I don't. And I can tell you He's done with make-believe Christianity. I can tell you He's done with pew warmers and I do this in this order at this given time on this day of the week. He's moving. I don't know how anyone can deny that at this point. If you're still in a spot that you're not sure He's real, reach out to me. The testimonies that I can give you and that I can give you of other people and that they can give you, there are no doubts. The healings that I've seen alone, the deliverances, what He's done in my husband in the past 2 weeks alone. Yeah, that's all Him. Watch the video. It's on this channel. Watch it. I can tell you that we've all been taught about happiness and we talk about joy, but the real world doesn't. The secular world thinks that joy and happiness are the same. They're not. Happiness is circumstantial. It's like puppy love. It's if everything's going well, I'm giddy and I'm excited and I love you and I feel great. And happiness is like that. Oh, life is good. I'm so happy I have, a great love. I have a great kid. I have a great this, or I got the best job or the best house. Joy is when everything is going wrong. You can still smile and laugh and go, it's all be all right. It's fine. And mean it. Not the typical those of us women are like, it's fine. Meaning, leave me alone. But true joy, and my husband's finally got that this week. God's blessed him with true joy. It's not, to have it right now shows him what it really is, because he couldn't describe it, because we have mold in our house. We're fighting insurance. It's been months. I've been sick. I've been in the hospital. There's enough to do with the property. The place we lived that we thought everybody was so sweet, we found out is very divided and a lot of corruption lives here. And I was ready to leave. And this week God told me no. We will be needed. And that's one of the reasons I know He's not going to tarry that long. But things are going to get worse in our world first, because that's what it's going to take for everyone to really listen and pay attention to His voice and come to Him. We're stubborn. we're selfish in our flesh, and we're always looking for what makes us feel good, and we're taught, follow your heart. Well, the Bible specifically says not to follow your heart, that it will lie and deceive you. So, I mean, going down the rabbit hole of the things that we've been indoctrinated to believe, both by the government, by school, and even by clergy. A lot of it is wrong. It's why good pastors tell you, don't listen to me, read. Read, and don't just read one translation, and don't just read one type, and go back further, and go back to years before what we use today was even thought of. Get a concordance. Look it up. Go back, study. Don't take anyone's word for it. There's no such thing as a trustworthy human. All in all, we will all fall short. We'll all do something wrong. And we all hear differently. And at different times, we're spoken to differently. So you have to learn for yourself. And if you don't think you can understand, go all the way back. They have new Bibles like the Hero Bible, the Big Story Bible. I mean, I know it sounds like something for a kid, but if you need a place to begin to learn. Because here in America, we ultimately get stuck in this view that everyone's heard the gospel. No, everyone hasn't heard. And what they've heard has been like, yeah, so-and-so, this baby was born supposedly of some virgin and supposedly died and he lived. Yeah. But they don't hear it for themselves. That's why The Chosen was so powerful in the first episode when he called Mary by name. Even though she was living totally possessed by demons and in sin, to where no one knew that name for her anymore. But he called her by her name so that she would hear his voice, because that's how that works. He speaks to you the way that you're going to hear. But you have to be ready to listen. He's not going to, take your brain out, flip it around, and put it back in so that it listens. He's not going to turn up the volume of your hearing. That's part of free will. If you don't want to listen, don't listen. But know that you don't have a lot of time. And I know in the past few years, a lot of people have come close, and they ultimately learned that they have no doubt there's a God, but they don't get the bad things, good people type thing. And it's spiritual. It's all I can tell you. There are certain things that you're not going to know without being there. For me as a parent, it's easier for me because I get parenting technique. God's very parental. He will do whatever it takes to spend eternity with you. And so, sometimes it looks really bad. And sometimes it looks like someone's doing all the right things. And the Bible's full of those, where that you're doing the right things. And so he allows the attack because the devil tells him that if he attacks you, that you won't stay loyal. Well, put that in today's perspective of the people that you're around and care about. Your best friend, the love of your life, whoever, your kid, your mom, your dad. I mean, whoever that person is for you. If they to save their life meant you had to break their arm, would you break their arm? If to save their life meant you had to slap the person next to them, would you do it? Because sometimes it takes something like that for some of us to hear. Sometimes it's not in the good times we catch it. Not many people turn to God because something wonderful happened, unfortunately. It's usually on your deathbed that you're screaming, God, God, help me. And he's going, who? I'm going to stop for right now so I can get more specific so I don't just ramble on. You guys, if you need prayer, send me a message. get you on a list, and I'll pray for you all the time. Later.